What's up, everybody? Today is January 1st of 2022, and today is the first day in a whole year that nobody is expecting me to take a picture. Mostly I, myself, am not expecting to take a picture. If you're not familiar with this, for the last year, I've been taking a photo and posting it to Instagram every single day. There's a few days that I missed here and there, but I always try to catch up, get back on track. So I posted at least 365 photos last year, which was a ton of fun. It really helped me grow as a photographer, push me creatively, make sure that every single day I was intentional about trying to use my camera and get better with it. So, in order to celebrate that project, I wanted to take a look back at this last year of photographs and share some of my favorites with you. One of my favorite styles of photography is landscape photography. I love getting out into nature and just capturing beautiful places. So, first up is my favorite landscape photo. This picture was taken just outside of Grand Teton National Park at the National Elk Refuge. This was a really cool thing we got to do. The whole family went and we took a sleigh ride out into this elk refuge, and they got really close to all these elk. It was just absolutely amazing seeing them out there and getting to capture this photo with the mountains behind them. One of my most commonly photographed things were sports happening at North. I teach broadcast there at Edmond North, and we cover a lot of games, so a ton of my content ended up being just photos that I took while I was out at athletic events. And so this one is my favorite photo that I took of sports this year. Now, what I love about this picture is just the celebration that's happening, how excited these guys are. This was soccer senior night, the boys had just won, and they absolutely erupted at the end. It was just so cool to see how excited they all were and just sharing that joy with them. On the note of photos taken at Edmond North, this next one is my favorite taken at school. And now, it's not the most amazing photograph that I took this year, but it means so much to me because this is a photo that we took of Husky Network for the yearbook. I have 5 different classes in broadcast and film, so not everybody gets to know each other, but we all came together for this yearbook photo, and a ton of my students came out to make sure that they were in that picture, and it was just so cool getting to see them interact with each other and just be excited to all get to be together at one time. Next up is my favorite drone photo. This picture was taken at a place called Shiprock in New Mexico. So this really gnarly rock formation used to be the throat of a volcano, and everything, the mountain around it has eroded, but that magma core is still there, which just leaves this jagged rock, really wild looking space. And we got there just in time to snap a few photos of sunset, and it just looks so epic. I posted about it basically looking like we were at the gates of Mordor, because it was just something out of fiction. Not every day is spent on a cool trip though, and so a lot of my content ended up just being random things that I would find around the house that I thought would be cool to take a picture of. So this is my favorite picture of something at our house. I've always loved this album, both musically. I love the visuals of the album artwork. I love the vinyl itself being this tie-dyed look, super cool. And I actually got this vinyl from a show that I helped organize back when I was doing something called Native Soundstage, and the band Dear People all signed it for me, making it just a really special piece of memorabilia for me, remembering that time. And I just love the way that the light was coming through our windows and the stuff I was able to capture for this photo. A lot of photography is working hard to get the best composition that you can get yourself set up at the right time, doing all the things that you can control. But there's also an element of luck a lot of times, and this photo is what I'm calling my favorite right place at the right time. This photo was taken on our way to Monument Valley, and we were coming up on that real big stretch of road that just goes straight into the formations. Real iconic thing from movies and Instagram feeds everywhere, so I was excited to get a shot there, but I ended up being much more excited about this one because we actually had to pull over to the side of the road because there were wild horses crossing the highway. So we couldn't miss that opportunity, so we hopped out, started photographing the horses, crossed the road with them, and got lucky to have this photo of a wild horse with the Monument Valley formation right behind him. This year I also got to start taking photos more professionally for people. I had done pictures for like friends and family here and there, but hadn't really put myself out there as a photographer for just like anybody to hire. So this experience has been super cool for me. I grew a lot by taking photos of other people, but this is my favorite photo that I got to take professionally. The thing that's really cool about this photo for me is the story. So this couple reached out wanting to do an elopement, and they said, hey, can you photograph our elopement in 3 days? Now, this was the first wedding that I've ever done. I've done some video work for cousins at their weddings before, but this was the first time that somebody wanted me to take photos of their wedding. So obviously this is a really big deal, and even though it was something that they were throwing together at the last minute, it was something that I took really seriously and was happy to be a part of, and was just really cool getting to share in that experience with them. Similarly to taking a lot of photos of things around the house, I also took a lot of selfies this year, which was a little outside of my comfort zone, but it was a lot of fun. So for any of the selfies, I set my camera up on a tripod and actually used a Canon app, Canon Connect, to remote trigger my camera to take those pictures by using my phone to do the shutter. So this was my favorite selfie. This picture was from the first OU game this season, and I think it might actually be the first photo that we have with all 5 of us. So really cool to just have the twins and Vincent and just this moment of being together at home and settling into what our life is like as a family of 5. Also, on the note of taking pictures of the twins, this is my most liked photo on Instagram from this year. This photo is taken shortly after the twins were born, like within a couple of hours, and actually posted on their birthday. So this was our big announcement to the world, getting to introduce you guys to our twins, Ellison and Grayson. So really cool just getting to share them with everybody, and appreciated all the love and support that we got on sharing this photo. And last up, I wanted to share my hardest photo to capture. This photo was taken at Arches National Park at Delicate Arch, which is arguably the most famous arch in the park. It's Utah's license plate, very iconic spot. It's been photographed so much, and what was special about this for me was getting to go out there and wait for the Milky Way to get into this position. So I had an app where I was tracking the movement of the Milky Way and knew what time it was going to be where I wanted to be for this photo. But it was a long wait. So I hiked up for sunset. Sunset didn't end up being that pretty up there that night, which was too bad. And I wanted to get this photo, and I was dedicated. So I sat around for about 4 hours waiting for the stars to come out, for the Milky Way to get in the right spot, all of that. And the whole time that I'm sitting there doing it, there is clouds, there's cloud coverage, and I'm just thinking, I'm not gonna get this photo, I'm spending all this time, I'm waiting up here, and I might not be able to get it because of the clouds. And luckily, as I had been out the night before, I had seen that they kind of break up around a similar time, and it cleared up just in enough time for the Milky Way to be in the right spot and for me to get this photo. And one of the things that was crazy about it too was being literally the last person up there. So when I first got up there at sunset, there was probably like 200 people, and it's kind of like this big amphitheater type space, you know, just rock slab where people sit there and they watch sunset, they take photos with the arch. There was like, you know, probably 50 or 60 people in line waiting to get a picture of themselves under the arch. So it's pretty crazy at that time of day. And so to have gone from seeing it like that to waiting it out and being literally the last one up there was pretty cool. It was pretty sketchy coming back because I was hiking down in the dark about 1.5 miles by myself, and you know, I'm a pretty adventurous person. I'm outdoors a lot, and it was one of the scarier experiences. I would not recommend it for anybody else. Obviously, everything was fine. It worked out totally great, but that fear of like, what if I get off trail when it's just like a rock slab going down, or you know, feeling like, okay, there could be a mountain lion around here, or some other kind of wildlife that you wouldn't encounter was pretty scary, but honestly made the experience that much cooler for me of just like a really special, unique kind of thing, which definitely contributed to it being the hardest photo for me to capture. So that's it, 10 of my favorite photos from last year. So out of 365 days, these were 10 of my absolute favorite days, and I so appreciate getting to share them with you. I appreciate you watching this video now, taking time to learn more about those photos and just hear some of these stories. So thank you for joining me on this adventure, and really looking forward to this next year of creating new things, pushing myself in different ways, but not being confined to saying every single day I'm taking a picture. I think this is gonna let me be creative in different ways of having more time to dedicate to one piece of content instead of saying like, okay, I gotta get something done every single day. So really looking forward to this year as well. And again, just so appreciate you joining me on this adventure as I documented an entire year through photography.